We are at the Sunseeker factory in Poole, which is why I've got the full PPE kit, I've got the life jacket, and I've got the high vis, which they insist on very wisely, as it's obviously a factory situation here. And we're here to look at this, which is a Sunseeker Manhattan 68. Now, the observant and the people who've been around the channel for a little while might say, you've already filmed a Sunseeker Manhattan 68, and you would be right, I filmed this one out in Miami, but not this boat. The reason I'm bringing this one to you is because this has a brand new layout. It's called the Pacific layout, and it's designed particularly for the Asian and American markets, although of course you can have it wherever you want. It's just that those markets particularly like what they've done with this, and I'm going to take you on board and give you the full tour and explain what the Pacific version is all about, because it is intriguing. So we'll head on here. There is of course a high-low platform, so you can put a tender on here, lower that down and launch it. There's quite a nifty beach club area as well. I'm going to show you that, but I'll leave that until we do the deck areas. I'm going to head inside first of all, because that's where the Pacific layout really shows itself. So we'll step up here into the cockpit. We've got the usual seating around the back here and the folding table, so that will fold out for dining. And then if we head on around here, we'll head on to the interior. Now, as we head into here, the first thing we've got is the galley. It's a galley aft layout, as you can see. It's a really nice size, and I'm going to close that door again because it's lovely and warm in here. The heating is on. It's a rather chilly autumnal day, although very fresh and very nice. So, as I say, galley aft layout. You've got the big full height fridge freezer, which is always nice. So that's a really generous size. We've got Miele all electric cooking, so the oven and the hob up on top, and a double sink. There's also a dishwasher tucked away in here, and then there's more storage, as you'd expect, up around the top like this. All very nicely done, as we always find on a Sunseeker. And then opposite this area we have the dining area, or somewhere you can sit and relax of an evening and have a drink. This will fold out, so if you are dining, you can put some chairs over on the other side of it if you want to, and you can make that into a really good size dining table. But most of the time you probably leave that folded up, and then that gives you the cup holders and a nice place for drinks. Now, the interior on this one is silver oak, so we've got this lovely light finish. It makes us feel really spacious. And if you remember the Manhattan 68, and I will put a link in the description and also at the end of the video to the standard boat, but on the Manhattan 68, and it's still a model that's very much in existence, this is simply an alternative layout. In fact, there's a lot of different options with this boat. You would have a stairway on this side down to the master cabin. This doesn't have that stairway. This has seating over on this side, and what that creates is a really great social area. And what they've done with this boat, basically, and you'll see this in more detail as we go down to the lower deck, is they've made it a 3-cabin layout rather than a 4-cabin, and that is what creates so much more space up here, because you no longer need that stairway over on this side, but also makes a fantastic master cabin. It's far bigger, and it is really rather spectacular. I will of course show you that, but first of all I'm going to show you this. There is a TV that rises up from behind the settee there, so if you want to watch a movie of an evening you can do. Some really nice headlining and things like that in here as well. I don't know whether this will pick it up. There we go. That looks really good, and the lighting, of course, Sunseeker always put this funky lighting in, and some nice detailing like this stainless steel here that's got this lovely wraparound, and that actually acts as a grab handle, and you can see it's got the wood on the inside. It's all very Sunseeker, it's all very high quality, and these lacquered finishes on here as well, they just look so nice. And that there is the bar, and you've got the wine cooler right next to it. But let's head on further forward, because I'm keen to show you this. So this is a storage area which you've gained again with this layout, and it just makes this whole main deck, if I come to here and point the camera backwards, feel so open and so generous. You've got the big windows as well, of course. It's fantastic. This is storage, so you've got little shelves in here. The AV equipment also is in here. That's down underneath there, so that obviously links up to your TV, and then a bit more storage in places like this. And of course the helm is here as well. That's over on this side. There's a side access door on this one. These boats are often owner operated, and this one I'm pretty sure is going out to an owner operator client, and I'll explain why I think that when we get a bit further down the boat, because there's another intriguing option on this one. If you go and have a look at this, you've got things like there's a phone dock here. There's an iPad dock. This is a control for the entire boat. Now, what can we see that? That looks okay. So if I push that, you've got the home screen here. It can take us into the bilge systems. We can come back, we can go into ventilation for all the different cabins. We can go into power meters, see what the boat's consuming with the electrics. The AC system is on here. Everything that you want to control the boat, that's all controlled from here. There's also a VHF radio. That's up on the side here. There we go. Thank you, gentlemen. I should turn it off really, shouldn't I? We've got the rotating Sunseeker logo in the centre there, which is all very nice. Engine controls are here. Down here, fire systems for the engine room, and also the ignitions for the engines are all controlled from down there. Bow and stern thruster. You've got your multifunction displays, of course, and also a really good view out from here. Actually, when I stand here like this, because we're fairly well forward and you've got these huge screens, it's a really good place to operate the boat from. Sometimes with lower helm, they feel a little bit compromised. This doesn't. It feels really good. Did I mention the side door? I can't remember, but there is a side door here. Goes straight out. Again, for owner operation, that is brilliant. Just means that two people can handle this boat really comfortably. Anyway, let's head on down, because I want to show you this layout. So if we go on down here, we've got a lobby area at the bottom of the stairs on the lower deck. And then if we go forward, so this is the VIP cabin. What's interesting down here is they've brought in some of the eucalyptus finishes. There are different wood options in this boat, of course. You can have the eucalyptus or the walnut instead of the silver oak. But here they've done like a dual finish. So we kept the silver oak, but then we've added areas like this in the eucalyptus. You can see it up around the top here. It just adds a bit of depth and interest. I think that works really well, particularly in a slightly small area like you have down here. Up on the main deck, they've kept it all silver oak to give a really open feel. And you can see it again here. This is in the dark wood, and then we've got the lacquered finish here. It's the detailing on these that really stands them apart, and this is a perfect example of it. AV equipment, so your TV is in here, and of course there's stereo in here as well, that kind of thing. Light switches are here. These are programmable, so you can have everything on, or you can hit buttons and get to a lower level sort of setting there if you want to. Storage, of course, all the way around here. I'm not going to open it all, but just to give you an idea. Again, it's all beautifully finished. And this is storage up in behind here as well. More light switches by the bed, so you don't have to get a bed to turn the lights off. Love more of this detailing, like this headboard up here. Look at the way they finished that. So you've got that stainless steel strip across. You've got then this detail across here, and then a different finish up above it. That's fantastic. There's a hatch up above, and we've got the cushions on there at the minute, which is why you can't see light through it. Obviously, if you were getting out that way in an emergency, you just push the cushions out of the way. But it also gives more light and ventilation if you want it into here. More storage along the top, and then on this side, that is your hanging locker. And that, if you've ever wondered how you would ever get from the bed up through that hatch, well, that's what that's for. Again, we're seeing these brilliant finishes over on this side. Look at the way that this is lit. You've got stainless steel, you've got this high gloss finish here, you've got the matte finish onto here. So much depth and detail gone into this, it's just fantastic. So as I say, that is standard Manhattan 68, as is the ensuite in here. Love this stone finish on here, that looks great. We've got the toilet, of course, and the sink, and then there's a separate shower area in through here with a rainfall shower. And again, as you'd expect, there's bits of storage dotted about the place there and down under the sink. Now if we head back out of this cabin and over onto the starboard side, we'll discover a couple of things. We'll discover this cabin, and you've got two single beds in here. Really good sized cabin. Again, the detailing, love this light on the bulkhead. And again, bits of storage concealed about the place, like so. Big windows on all these cabins as well, which is nice. AV equipment, lighting, air conditioning controls, and so on. Really good sized cabin. And then the hanging locker for this one is here. You might notice these little turnbuckle things here. The idea of these is that it's access to systems like plumbing and wiring and all that kind of stuff behind the scenes, so that if any maintenance is needed, you don't have to start pulling the boat apart. Look, they've even put plug sockets into here. And again, you see what I mean about the eucalyptus finish on these surfaces and then the silver oak on here and the way that it all tones in. It just adds a bit of interest. You can see it up along here as well. Very nice indeed. The other thing then that we have on this side is the day heads, and of course this cabin would use this at night. So that's in here. Toilet, sink, and again separate rainfall shower over on that side. So that is all as per, but where it starts to change is over here. I mentioned that this is a 3-cabin layout. The standard Manhattan 68 is a 4-cabin. This would take you into the 4th cabin, in fact, and then, as I say, the access up there would take you down to the master cabin, which is full beam further back. Not on this boat. Check this out. Look at that. That creates a magnificent master cabin. It's like a real luxury boutique hotel. You know, it's giving you a proper suite rather than just a room. That's brilliant. And of course, a lot of people, they don't want to sleep 8 people on the boat all the time. So with this layout, you can still sleep 6, but it just opens this right up for the owner. And, you know, let's be honest, who's paying for this? Of course you should have this level of luxury. You've got more storage in here. Again, you can see these removable panels. You've got this lovely little area here. Be a nice place to work as well, wouldn't it, actually, sort of separate to the main cabin. There's storage then down along this side, like so. And then we head on back again. Now, if this was cabin 4, it would have 2 beds like the cabin on the other side that we just looked at, and then this would be the back of the cabin, of course. And then we come back here, this would then be the stairway from the main deck down to the master cabin. So that's what's changed. It's given you this entire area right the way through here. It's absolutely brilliant. And again, we've got these different finishes. We've got this eucalyptus wood, and then we've got this silver oak over here, and then we've got this lovely matte finish and the stainless steel. It's a feast for the senses. It looks great, it feels great. It's superb. You might notice a slightly crackly floor, and that's because we've got sheeting over everything to keep everything perfect. This is about to go out to its owner, so we're just getting a sneak preview before it leaves. So here we've got a bar area. So as you can see, glasses in that one, and then underneath is a fridge, and then we've got a massive hanging locker there, a little bit of storage underneath it, and then we step back again, and that then is the main part of the cabin. Now again, different options available over here. This one's got the chaise lounge. You can have a settee here if you want to. You can even have a little desk here if you want to. So although this is not a sort of a full custom boat, there's a lot of bespoke options. And they've made quite a few of these, and apparently no 2 boats have gone out the same, because there are so many different things that you can change. And this new layout option, of course, then puts a whole new layer of that on. Again, that beautiful detailing. Look at this, the way they've done this in the high gloss and the stainless steel, and the way it's lit by these, and then this headboard across here. It's just beautiful. And this cabin, oh, it's just magnificent, isn't it? I mean, this is a sub 70-foot boat, and yet it feels like an 80-footer or an 85-footer when you're in here. It's brilliant. Now, one interesting thing about this layout is it's quite a long distance from here through to there, out of that door and up, which means if you had a problem in this area, you've got to ask, how would you get out of this cabin? Well, if we go over here, we'll find the ensuite, and what's interesting is that they've put an emergency escape hatch. That would take you straight through into the into cabin 3, the guest cabin over on that side, and you go out through the door and up the steps. So it means you've got 2 distinct separate areas. Obviously the normal way through there and an emergency access through there. So that is a reassuring touch. Obviously something you hope you'll never need, and almost certainly won't, but it's there, and it's nice to know that it is. Sink in here, of course, and then we've got the toilet. This is a nice big shower area in this one. This is the biggest in the boat, again, as you'd expect, for the owner. Very, very nice. And if we come out of here, superb, isn't it? That chaise lounge, that has got to be the ultimate place to tuck yourself away with a good book, hasn't it? You've got the comfort there, and you've got the view out of the window. And there are, of course, blinds that drop down over these windows. You don't have to have them open like this. If we look up underneath, you'll see them. There we go. And those circular sections, if you're wondering, those are opening sections, so you can get plenty of air through here if you want to. That's superb, isn't it? I didn't show you the storage on that side. I'll just have a quick look at that, just so you can see what we've got. So, big hanging locker here, full of some of the spare gear for the boat at the moment. Another big window on this side. Again, there's lovely finishes. And then this along here is drawers, like so, and then more storage underneath. I won't open them all. Lighting controls by the bed, USB sockets by the bed. All very nicely thought out. And again, look at the finishes. Look at the way they've done this, with this lovely lacquered finish across here, which incidentally, you get more storage. And these are access panels that take you, again, down into engineering spaces like bilge pumps and that kind of stuff, deep in the hull. That is, I think you'll agree, a magnificent cabin. Let's press on a bit further. But this is the bit, isn't it? You come around here and normally you'd be out of the cabin and gone, and this is still all your cabin all the way up through here and into here. Superb. As I say, the standard 4-cabin layout is still available. If you want to be able to sleep 8 people, you opt for that layout and away you go. But so many people just aren't filling these boats with loads of different people. And to be able to keep this for yourself and still have space for your kids or guests or whoever else, because you've still got those 2 other decent cabins, I think that's brilliant. I think it works really, really well. And as I mentioned earlier, they call it the Pacific because this kind of layout, which is a bit more sociable and a little bit less accommodation biased, is very popular in the United States and in Asia. But of course, you know, it's called that because that's where a lot of these are going to go. But you can have this wherever you are. Just if this is what you prefer, opt for this. I think I would, actually. I really think I would. I think the amount of times I'd have 8 people on the boat. Yeah, this works well. Let's go back through here. It's lovely and warm in here. We've got the heating on. It's heating and air conditioning. You can see the control for it over here. This little chap, if I touch it, there we go. That's that fellow. And we'll head back on out and I will show you the deck areas, the engine space and the beach club. But let's take one last look down here because, as I say, this is what I was talking about. This has been kept all light colours in here. They've kept the dark colours of downstairs, that eucalyptus wood. Here they've kept it all really light and just so spacious with these big windows as well. It's a very, very nice specification on this one. They've done a good job. Congrats to the owner if you are watching. And I guess Sunseeker might mention this video, so you may well be. I like your boat, sir, or madam. Okay. We will do a tour of the decks, a tour of the Flybridge, a tour of the engine room and the beach club. So if we come around here, this takes us up and forward. Decent sized side decks on this and a nice high rail as well. It really is, as all good boat testers say, it falls to hand easily. The ultimate boat testing cliche. And then up here we've got another area for seating and lounging. So seating all the way around here. This table of course will fold out. We've got cup holders out here as well. These open up. These are storage areas, so ropes, deck gear, that kind of thing can all go into places like this. And if we head on right forward, these are speakers for this area, more cup holders. We can come right up to the bow then. You've got the anchoring kit and those 2 silver fellows, those are the buttons. If you flip those up, that's how you operate the winch. And then there's a locker there to take you down into the anchor locker. And that's how she looks from here. Now these sun loungers, you can lift these up, or these areas here. So if we come around here, where are we? There it is. That just lifts up and you can see, dead simple, just drops in like that. And then you can have that for lounging or run it flat if you prefer. Another thing I noticed actually when I was having a look around earlier, in here, quite a nice idea. Another of these lockers, but this one's actually got a deck wash. That down there, that's the tap, and you can plug a hose into there. So if you want to wash this forward area, you don't have to run hoses down the whole boat. Very good. Love these big windscreens and these lovely stainless steel wipers on there. It's all proper kit, isn't it? Let's head on back down this side. These chaps in the floor, that's the water filler, just there, diesel filler, and I think there's another one on the other side, if I remember rightly. You come right back here. These are rope bins, so you can drop the warps. When you tie off, you can put the tails of the warps into there. And then we come back around here. Look at the detail on these switches, the way that everything's done in stainless steel and embossed rather than just stickers. That is classic Sunseeker. It's a quality machine. Again, the stainless steel doors as well. It's all just so nice. And you know that this is still going to be nice in years to come. It's not looking nice today and then going to weather. And then here we've got the steps up to the Flybridge. Now these are all lit underneath, as you can see. It looks lovely at night. There's a hatch across here. The reason for that is because you can enclose this area. There's a track here that goes all the way around. So you can put canopies all the way around here, close that down, and then this makes another area. It's almost like a conservatory. Or just to protect it when you're not using the boat, of course. This then opens up on a gas strut, like so. And that will stay up there like that. However, there is also this little fella, so that if you want to secure it properly, there we go, you can do that. And that's not going to drop down if somebody grabs hold of it as they come up. Now, if you come around here, now there are more options up here. This has got seating around the back. You can have a table here with seating around it, like a circular table if you prefer. You can have sun loungers if you prefer. And I think there is also, if I remember rightly, another seating option as well with freestanding furniture. So a lot of options to choose from here. So what I mean about there, although it's not a custom boat, there is a lot of bespoke choices. Big table, this of course folds out. So if you want to dine up here, you can put some director's chairs around it and you've got massive space there. Let's come right to the back and take a look forward, because it's a big area up here. There's another one of these, so you can secure this if you want to completely. The hardtop on these is an option, but they've told me that no Manhattan 68s have yet gone out without it. What you can do with this is a white hardtop, it looks great, but you can have black if you prefer, or you can have silver. And then you've got up on top, you've got things like the navigation lights, the antennas, the radar, all that kind of stuff is up there out of the way. Let's head on forward. Wet bar is here. So you've got the griddle there, and then there's a sink. Very nice sink. I like the way they've done the drain on that. Just there. And then underneath here, you've got an ice maker. And I believe you can have a fridge in there if you want it. Would make sense. Somebody once asked me if they could see inside an ice maker. I don't know why, but I listened to you guys and I'm going to show you. There we go. That's what an ice maker looks like inside. So it makes the ice and then it drops down, they drop into there, and so when you want ice you just pull that out. It's got a little bit of water in there in a minute, and that, yeah, that's your ice. I suspect they've been trying it out and made the ice and then not emptied it. There we go. This one's not completely PDI'd yet. They're still working on it before it goes out. It's going out in a couple of days, I think. Lighting up underneath here as well, and then you've got a big opening section overhead, so if you want this open to the elements you can have it. I mentioned we're in pool. There's a pool key over here, and then around here more seating, sunbathing up on the front. This I really like. This is a place where people can sit back against here facing forward. What a brilliant place to sit when the boat's underway. And then finally up here, of course, you've got the upper helm. So you've got the twin seats covered up at the moment. You've got the twin Simrad screens, so that's all of your navigation and radar and all that kind of stuff. Your engine instrumentation is underneath that one. Bow and stern thruster on here. There's a VHF radio that will clip in there, so you've got control of that up here as well. Very nice indeed. Very nice indeed. It's a big Flybridge, isn't it? I think it's a boat that we can safely say punches above its weight. It doesn't feel like a sub 70 foot boat, especially with that layout. That's brilliant. Okay, so we're going to head down here. And I'm going to show you the beach club area. Now again, we've got one of these beautiful Sunseeker stainless steel panels. And what we need to press is enable and beach club door open, which is that one, and that will power that whole area of the transom up. There we go. If you're wondering, this is a door that just swings across, so you can enclose this area. Obviously quite a useful thing. Let's come down here. And this is genius, because all the stuff you might want when you're swimming, so you can put towels here, or fins, or whatever else you need, maybe even dive bottles across the top here. Everything is here where you can get to it and it's ready to go. That's a little seat that lifts up, so you can sit there and put your fins on. You've got lighting under here, but you've also got a shower. Look at this. So that straight down here, brilliant for when you come out from swimming. Now, I mentioned earlier that I thought this was probably an owner-operator boat, and I'm now going to show you why. Because this is access to the crew cabin if you specify it, and this owner hasn't. If we open this up, what he has instead, and I think this is a really good idea, if you don't need crew, and at this size of a boat, for a lot of people they don't, what you have instead is a fantastic locker. Look at this, it's huge, because of course normally this would be beds for the crew. And this is brilliant for things like inflatable paddle boards and the kind of stuff that you normally struggle to find a home for. Folding bikes maybe, you know, whatever you like. And it means that if you're away on the boat for, you know, a month or two at a time, and with this sort of boat and this sort of layout, that's probably entirely the sort of use you'd use it for. It's just fantastic. Keep all your clobber like that, as I say, your paddle boards and your folding bikes and all that tucked away here, straight up and out onto the bathing platform to take them onto the shore. Perfect. But what's quite clever, this owner has opted to have this area, and that's a toilet in there, and in fact there's a shower as well. So if you don't want to shower on the back, or you just want to pop down and use the loo, it's right there. Absolutely fantastic. You're out swimming, everyone's having a great time, somebody wants to use the loo, straight in. You're not having to go through the cabins, you're straight into there. I think that's a really nice idea. I think that's a good use of that space. Obviously, if you want crew, you'd have this as a crew cabin, but if you're not, perfect. I'm going to show you one other thing while we're in here, because this again, if I might use my classic Sunseeker term, this is access to some of the engineering spaces again. So down here we've got bilge pumps, float switch, so that means if any water gets in there, it fires the pumps off automatically, and some of the plumbing and so on, and you think that's great, and all lovely and clean because it's a brand new boat, it's always lovely. And then you suddenly notice, hang on, this is lit. This is actually illuminated. It's an area that most of the time nobody goes anywhere near unless they need to do a bit of work, but it's all illuminated. That is the kind of detail, and there's many of them. People sometimes look at these expensive high quality boats and go, oh yeah, but you could buy an XYZ cheaper. You could, but when you get into the real depth of quality and the thought and the engineering that goes into it and the solidity and the way that everything is so solid, there is a reason why high quality boats are expensive, and it's not just the name, although they do have a very prestigious name. It's because of the engineering that goes into them. You do get what you pay for. Let's come back out of here. The only area we haven't done then is the engines. We'll do that next. Slip my shoes back on. We will drop that one back down. Like so. And then we'll come back across here. I'll pop that one back down in a minute when I've finished. And if we go over here, this then is the engine access. This is the last bit to have a look at. This has got one of those clever struts. If you have a look at that, you'll see it clicks, it goes off center, so you can't accidentally push that back down. You have to deliberately move that into the middle before it'll drop. So that's a very good idea. And then we'll take this ladder. Down into the engine space. And what we'll find in here is a pair of MAN 1000 horsepower engines. They're V8s. As you can see, pretty magnificent engines. And these are giving the boat a top speed of about 28 knots, cruising therefore mid-20s. You can opt for MAN 1200 horsepower, so 20% more power. That'll lift the speed up to sort of 30 knots plus. So if you want that level of performance, you can have it. But these 1000 horsepower engines, of course, these are more than adequate for this sort of boat. Most people are cruising these at around 20 knots, and these engines will do that very well indeed. If we have a little wander around this side, again you can see some of the engineering. For example, gyros. So this is a gyro stabilizer. These are fascinating things. They spin at super high speed, and that gives a centrifugal force that they can then push against to hold the boat level to stop it rocking. What else have we got in here? Some of the hydraulics are over here. We've got the exhaust systems. Again, you can see the quality of the engineering, the way that everything's double clipped. We've got the control boxes for the engines are over here. All the electronics are protected behind these screens. I don't know how you can see them, but you can see all the circuit breakers in behind there rather than exposed. Plumbing for things like the drainage around the place. Generator is over on that side, so that's giving you your 240 volt power or your 110 volt power if you're in America. So you can power all of the domestic systems when you're out at sea. We've got raw water strainers down here. Filters on the bulkhead. Oh, it's also lovely and new. I do like looking at brand new boats. Here's the water heater up here. So that is the hot water tank for your showers and wherever you want hot water basically. It's a pretty decent engine room actually. But what's interesting is they've not gone too mad with it. It's all the space you need, but they've kept it so that of course all this is cabin forward from here, and the bigger you make this that way, the less cabin that you have. So it's a really good balance. You can get right around these engines, but you're not actually taking up too much space of the engine room. So that's what's giving you a lot of space inside. Incidentally, these are on V drives. So normally when I show you these engines, I talk about the shafts going out the back, and there are no shafts out the back of here. The shafts on these engines run out this way and then go through a V, so they do that, like a V gearbox, and then the shafts run back underneath. And the reason they do that is to position the engines further back in the boat, and again, that's what gives you that space inside, which is what's important to people. Very nice indeed. That's the fire extinguishing system. I mentioned that when we were up at the helm. So that is automatic. If you had a fire, that would set off automatically, but you'll see that there's a cable pull on the top. That's so that you can manually fire it off from outside if you ever needed to. And then you've got these little blue fellows here are some of the battery management systems. So there you go, that is the engine space. I think that is a pretty comprehensive tour of a Sunseeker Manhattan 68 Pacific layout. Let's come back up here. I'm going to finish off on the Flybridge and see if I can give you a little sneaky look at Sunseeker's factory. Oh, I pointed that out and I forgot to do it. There we go. Let's move that there. There we go. Let's have a wander up here. It is quite a spectacular place this. As I say, it's in Poole. If you're ever visiting Poole, ever walk down to Poole Quay, which is over there, and you can gaze upon it. But you can see there's a Sunseeker down there, but most of them are back here. There we go. You can see the factory across here. That's a Sunseeker 95 yacht in build there. These two look like they're pretty much finished, and I think that is a 68 sport yacht, I think. No, 65 sport yacht. Got a tour of one of those on the channel. They're excellent. Really lovely boat. That's a new model, actually. That came out at Cannes. And I don't know whether you can see them from here, but there are a couple of the super yachts right up through there. Some big stuff going on down here. It's a very, very impressive place. So there we go. Where we're going to finish off? At the helm, of course. I'm not going to sit down because the covers are on, so I'm going to stand here and say thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed that tour. It's been really good to have a bit of time on one of these boats and really take you into every area. And as I mentioned earlier, I think that Pacific layout, if you're not looking for maximum accommodation, there's a lot to be said for that. I like it very much indeed. Huge thanks to you guys for watching, and massive thanks to Sunseeker International who've organised this tour. We'll catch you on another one of these very soon. Take care, bye-bye.